Much better, much better. Well, welcome to Slow Markets, everybody. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA. As always, in the YouTube chat, there was the bot, the Nightbot, that posted the risk disclosure. Where are you at, Nightbot? Post it again so I don't have to. Just scroll up a little bit. You'll find it. You'll find it. I don't know how to control the Nightbot. The Nightbot has a mind of its own. Yeah, whatever. Let's see if I'll do it. I'll do it just for the sake of doing it and for the sake of everybody just tuning in. We all know this is not a signals class. It's for educational purposes only. Zona, yes, it's a new haircut. Shitty barbers as always. I have a hard time finding good barbers. I still haven't found one yet. Still have not found one yet. I went through like 5 of them in the past year. But let's get to these markets. We'll do a regular rapid fire, then we'll get some questions. Let's focus on this market real fast. And yeah, where are we at? Let me make sure I have everything I need. Let's make sure I have the chats open that I need. And let's get started. NASDAQ daily chart. Tomorrow's a big day for the markets. The market is, tomorrow is a big day for the markets. As I was saying, we do have, if you don't know, you should know, and now you know, we have core PCE year over year and month over month. And we also have the U.S. consumer spending. So big data coming out tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Central. 7:30 a.m. Central. So pay attention. We are going to see a peak in volatility or a spike in volatility. We also have a couple Barr and Bostic, some Fed speakers speaking through tomorrow as well. It is also Friday. Friday's price action. We are seeing that tonight. And where do we go from here? This is a daily chart. Some things I'm thinking about on the daily. We all know, the beautiful gap that we've had on the week. We filled it. We filled it today during the New York session. Finally, get that done and over with. Don't have to think about it anymore. But what a wild week we've had. I mean, let's take a look back. Let's reminisce on this past week where we gapped up. We rallied all the way up to these 20,500s and sold all the way back down. And we are sitting right where we were last week. A whole lot of nothing. Once the week is over, I mean, tomorrow is going to, yeah, what do we do? I mean, it's the same thing, right? If we look at a weekly chart, I haven't pulled one of these up in class for a while. I mean, take a look. We are right where we were at last week. See where we closed last Friday? We closed basically at 960, 970, and we gapped up, rallied all the way up, sold all the way back down. Is this bearish? Is this bullish? I am going to lean to the bearish side. You don't want to see these big wicks on the weekly to the upside, right? You'd rather see the big wicks on the downside. You can see I'm going to lean bearish. I mean, buyers had such a hard time holding this market up. Tomorrow could change anything because the week's not over yet. We still have a day. But zooming in, let's zoom back into the daily, which is weird to say, zooming into the daily. But one thing that I have in my mind is, can we hold this? Can we hold this, dare I say, uptrend that we've been in? Maybe. If this is market structure, if any, I don't know. Can we say this? Can we say that? I don't know. But there's still, I believe that there's still a decent chance that this market can find some support. Is that me wishful thinking? I don't know. Could the data come out tomorrow? Sure. If we zoom into an hourly chart and kind of zoom out a little bit, I mean, you can kind of see what I'm looking at. Not every bullish trend has been broken yet, right? Yet. It's still a channel. I was talking about this before. I don't know how you want to draw the channel out. I have no idea. Maybe you do something like this. I don't know. But you can still technically say, right? I was talking about we was coming up to the top of this channel. I remember these are big zones zoomed out, right? And I'm not surprised. We're actually finding some buyers stepping in right now as I've been talking. We've been speaking, and we're down 0.09% tonight. So not big market movements in the after hours. We're at, you can see where we originally started. We filled the gap. We're basically there now. We zoom into a 5-minute chart here on the NASDAQ and kind of see how was our day. Had that big sell-off. I got a lot of traders talking smack to me today during the New York session, talking about these 3-bar reversals. Not only one, but 2. I had 2 3-bar reversals. Obviously, I took my loss. I didn't trade them in my live account, but I talked about them as they were happening. And it's traders talking smack. You're trading against the trend. You're trading against the trend. Well, what do you consider the trend? I think that was a very important topic today during the New York session. Is how do you determine a trend? What time frame are you looking at when judging what is the trend? Are you looking at the daily charts? Are you looking at a 4-hour chart? Because if you're looking at a 4-hour chart, you can say the trend is down, right? If you're looking at a 1-hour chart, I mean, can you say the trend is down? If you're looking at a 5-minute chart, though, are we in a trend? Are we just consolidating? But then if you're looking in, maybe they're looking at a 1-minute chart. If you're looking at a 1-minute chart during the New York session, oh yeah. If you tell me you're looking at the 1-minute chart, you could say the New York session was in a trend, right? Maybe the trader was looking in a 5-second chart. If you look at the 5-second chart, I mean, you zoom all the way to the New York session, and you look at a 5-second chart. Oh, what a trend that was. Such a bullish trend on the 5-second chart here in the New York session. And that's super bullish. I mean, that's a bullish trend if I've ever seen one on a 5-second chart. So I think the important lesson that I see myself struggle to is, how do you determine a trend? I think it's important for us as traders to determine what is a trend. what time frame we're looking at and how we define the trend ourselves. Everyone's going to have their different opinion and how they're trading. Are we trading counter trend? Are we going to trade with the trend? Well, what trend are you trading with? What trend are you counter trading against? So it really depends, right? It really depends. And so that's why there's a lot of context. And we were just such an interesting area, right? Because after we had that huge sell-off yesterday, we get a bit of a rally today, and we're just kind of in that spot where we were just barely breaking through overnight highs, which can justify a bull trend, which can justify the New York session trending upwards, but we weren't really quite in there because we didn't have a pullback and then a continuation after the breakout. The first pullback we had after we broke out was really the first higher low. Sure, you can say this was a higher low, but we failed to make a higher high. Like we made a lower high actually. We failed to break through any level of resistance, right? See this level of resistance that we were holding on to? We sold off. We rallied up. This was support. Support became resistance again. This overnight resistance zone, sure enough, became resistance once more. And that was a decent short trade maybe. And then even looking at it from a technical standpoint, look at this shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So this is a nice little head and shoulders pattern for a nice, sell-off. So there's plenty of opportunities to short. And now you look at the markets. You look at the markets now. No, we're still in a downtrend, right? Now you're going to come back and say after the fact, with a little bit of hindsight, it's a lot easier to say we're still in a downtrend. Now, that's the beautiful thing about hindsight is you never know until after the fact. And that's why we trade. That's why we're traders. There's opportunities. For every buyer, there's a seller and vice versa. And that's what makes a market. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how these things play out. It's interesting to see these different views in the market. But here we are. We've sold off. We made new lows. We just barely, by a few points, broke the New York session low. So we did make officially new lows. We got us down as far as 931, and we rallied up. Is this a big move? Is this a rejection? Did we just run liquidity? I mean, that's a 48, almost a 50-point bounce from this low. I seen something on the 5-second chart. I'm curious. I'm curious on that move. Look at that. That's interesting. I don't know who trades 5-second charts, but yeah, that's quite the move on these smaller time frame charts. It's kind of just funny to see it. I don't trade those, but 5-minute chart, it's tough to be it's tough to be a buyer and a seller in this market. It's easier to be a seller, obviously. When we get down to these lows, you kind of get this feeling that the bottom can kind of just drop off, and we could see a 100-point sell-off in any moment. That's kind of how this market feels right now, hanging down around these lows that I could turn my head and we could see a big sell-off in this market. But before I go anywhere else, I'll wait for more traders to come in, because I was going to talk about my slow markets trade from last night. That was a banger of a trade. I was still going when I came on for fast markets. That slow markets trade was working out. I'll talk more about it if you came in, and if you watched last night, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to review that because I'm happy that happened, because that was a beautiful demonstration of an overnight trade. And I wish I could just copy. I probably should just make a video and post it on social media like all the other influencers do, when they call something out, right? Maybe I will. Who knows? After the fact, right? There's going to be more of them. I'm not too worried about that, of talking. I love the fact that everybody in slow markets gets the stuff, and not everybody else. Traders and everybody who tunes into slow markets, you deserve the better stuff. Stop throwing shots. Stop throwing shots. What do you mean, PO3? What shots? I have to throw shots. If you think it's a shot, it's thrown. It is how you take it. But yeah, I think that's all I have on the NASDAQ. It's a difficult one. We have a big event tomorrow. We have a big data, the PCE coming out. So I think being patient. No trades for me tonight that I see set up yet. Let's move on. Let's take a look at crude oil. Let's see what crude oil is doing. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. Buy the dip mode still. It looks like we touched $70 a barrel, and we had a little bit of a sell-off. Maybe another opportunity to buy the dip, right? Another opportunity to buy this dip and push back up towards 70. I still do not like trading crude up at this level, because it's basically a support and resistance zone where you could easily get into a short in this level. You can even look for a long breakout as well. So it's hard to trade crude. I could see both arguments here for a breakout to the long side and even a nice short trade to the downside, but I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on crude. Let's take a look at the Nikkei. Been watching that for quite some time, talking about it more. Nikkei looking bearish, to be honest, tonight. You can see we had that, kind of a top. Is this turning into be a double top? We failed to break out the other night, and this could very well be a double top. It's going to be interesting to see how we play around these lows. If we do start to break down, then I am not one to be surprised if the Nikkei can sell all the way off down to these 36,400s and test some of these lows. But that is looking pretty bearish to me. This makes me want to just come in and sell it, looking for a continued sell-off. I would not be surprised. Look at this. We're down 0.4% here in the Nikkei, and it could just continue to get uglier. Let me zoom into a 5-minute chart, and we're starting to break these lows. Yeah, it's very tempting to sell right here. Next level of support is going to be right around 37,200, and that is the double. That would be the double top, right? That would be the double top where we came tested again. First target 37,221. So selling here is very tempting. I'm going to do that. This is a slow market. I'm okay with doing that in the slow market. Ooh, there's big 52 contracts. That's pretty big for the Nikkei. Let's go ahead. I'm going to jump into one here. We're going to sell the lows. So Mrkts, eat this up. I am selling the lows. Enjoy. This is for your viewing pleasure. Okay, short one. I'm gonna have my stop loss just above that previous pivot, and the take profit. We're gonna see. We're gonna let this thing run. My first take profit I would consider is gonna be down here around this zone, but I'm gonna have a wider take profit because if we do start getting momentum, we all know the Nikkei could definitely catch that, and we could see further downside. J-Money trades.
Seven, 425, 37, 310.
Okay, I'm buying. Good luck to you. If that's your process, you got it. Just make sure if this does continue to sell off, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Mrkts, what are you talking about?
Wow,
I'm talking about you come into a chat and talk shit, you got to back it up. That's what I'm talking about. Let's move on. Let's take a look at gold.
310.
Let's take a look at gold. All-time highs, right? All-time highs in gold. Look at 5 minutes. Let's take a look at an hourly chart. And man, it didn't seem like that long ago. Coach Jay and I, if he was in here, Coach Jay, look at this resistance. We were talking about this last night as well, where I was looking for this market to break out and test these all-time highs. Sure enough, we did break out, and this was last night. So for those who tuned in, once again, we had that nice breakout. We actually had a pullback off those highs. If you're tuning into fast markets, we had that pullback. We had that pullback to these 70s, and sure enough, we had continuation. Through and into these all-time highs. It looks like tonight we are continuing to make those all-time highs. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Look at the 5-minute chart. Continue to zoom in. So, yep, tonight, it looks like tonight we made all-time highs here during slow markets. We'll continue to jump back to this. And, yeah, let's see it. 3,100. So we broke through that already $100 higher than that big 3,000 level. Let's see, 3,105. We made that tonight. Where's Coach Hoop? Yeah, you called in fast markets again this morning. Yeah, just June front month. We are in rollover, so it's understanding. Gold's in rollover. Coach Hoop saying that. Coach Hoop is in the chat, knows exactly what I'm referring to. So being careful in a rollover environment. Markets can act sporadic, but I mean, here we are, all-time highs in gold. Will we go back up and make another all-time highs? Well, dip and push back up towards 70. The bottom can kind of just drop off, and we can see a 100-point sell-off in context. And we were just such an interesting area, right? Because after we had that big sell-off, I got a lot of traders talking smack to me today during Friday. We closed basically at 960, 970. Zoom into a 5-minute chart here on the Nasdaq. The first higher low. Sure, you can say, and everybody who tunes into slow markets, you deserve the better stuff. Stop throwing shot. I'm going to pass on crude. Let's take a look at the Nikkei. Been watching that for quite some time, talking about it more. Nikkei looking bearish, to be honest, tonight. You can see we had that, kind of a top. Is this turning into be a double top? We failed to break out the other night, and this could very well be a double top. It's going to be interesting to see how we play around these lows. If we do start to break down, then I am not one to be surprised if the Nikkei can sell all the way off down to these 36,400s and test some of these lows. But that is looking pretty bearish to me. I mean, this makes me want to just come in and sell it, looking for a continued sell-off. I would not be surprised. I mean, look at this. We're down 0.4% here in the Nikkei, and it could just continue to get uglier. Let me zoom into a 5-minute chart, and we're starting to break these lows. Yeah, it's very tempting to sell right here. Next level of support is going to be right around 37,200, and that is the double. That would be the double top, right? That would be the double top where we came tested again. First target 37.21. So selling here
37.21
is very tempting. I'm going to do that. This is the slow markets. I'm okay with doing that in the slow markets. Oh, there's big 52 contracts. That's pretty big for the Nikkei. Let's go ahead. I'm going to jump into one here. We're going to sell the lows. So Mrkts, eat this up. I am selling the lows. Enjoy. This is for your viewing pleasure. Okay, short one. I'm going to have my stop loss just above that previous pivot, and the take profit. We're gonna see. We're gonna let this thing run. My first take profit I would consider is going to be down here around this zone, but I'm going to have a wider take profit because if we do start getting momentum, we all know the Nikkei could definitely catch that, and we could see further further downside.
37,
J Money trades. Okay,
05.
I'm buying. Good luck to you. If that's your process, you got it. You got it. Just make sure if this does continue to sell off, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Revax, what are you talking about? I'm talking about you come into a chat and talk shit, you got to back it up. That's what I'm talking about. Let's move on. Let's take a look at gold. Let's take a look at gold. All-time highs, right? All-time highs in gold. Looking at the 5-minute, let's take a look at an hourly chart.
Wow.
And, man, it didn't seem like that long ago. Coach Jay and I, if he was in here, Coach Jay, look at this resistance. We were talking about this last night as well, where I was looking for this market to break out and test these all-time highs. Sure enough, we did break out, and this was last night. So for those who tuned in, once again, we had that nice breakout. We actually had a pullback off those highs. If you're tuning into fast markets, we had that pullback. We had that pullback to these 70s, and sure enough, we had continuation. We had continuation through and into these all-time highs. It looks like tonight we are continuing to make those all-time highs. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Look at the 5-minute chart. Continue to zoom in. So, yep, tonight, it looks like tonight we made all-time highs here during slow markets. We'll continue to jump back to this. And, yeah, let's see it. 3,100. So we broke through that already $100 higher than that big 3,000 level. Let's see, 3,105. We made that tonight. Where's Coach Hoop? Yeah, you called in fast markets again this morning. Yeah, just June front month. We are in rollover, so it's understanding. Gold's in rollover. Coach Hoop saying that. Coach Hoop is in the chat, knows exactly what I'm referring to. So being careful in a rollover environment. Markets could act sporadic, but I mean, here we are, all-time highs in gold. Will we go back up and make another all-time highs while we are trading this, as we are watching this as well? Contracts rolled over. Let's come up with a new one. Bro, let's come up with a new one. Hey Dakota, requesting my first payout from TopStep. Great work. Awesome. I love hearing that. Requesting new payouts, first payouts from TopSteps, passing combines. I had my VIP team meeting today, and that was great. I think that was a good meeting for my VIP team. Continuing to talk about sizing down, continue to talking about, following the process and starting to see some good traders come out of the VIP team. What is the tick value for gold? Well, if you're in a mini, this gold mini, it's $10 per tick, my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're in a micro, it's 1/10 of that. Jim H, how do we get into your VIP team? So the VIP team here at TopStep, there's new seasons every 3 months, I believe. Don't quote me on that, please. But every so often we'll have a new season, and then TopStep, I say we, but TopStep has a drawing for 50 new, traders per team. So, there's a bunch of teams, 10 teams, X amount of teams, and there's 50 traders for each team. And it's new. It's relatively new. This is season, 1 or 2? And there's going to be new seasons throughout the thing. So new traders being drawn and, new setups. TopStep is continuing to, fine tune it, polish it up. Are we going to be having the same, new 50 come in once a trader drops out? Are we going to have, refresh? I don't know. There's a lot of great things in the works that TopStep is doing for this VIP team, this VIP league. Is it a league? These VIP teams that sounds like is going to be the building blocks for what the TopStep trading league will be. So I'm excited to see the VIP teams and how those VIP teams start to transition and the TopStep trading league, which is going to be so freaking amazing. Buyers took a very low probable trade. Not sure on that one. We'll switch back to this Nikkei trade. This Nikkei trade that Coach Dakota is on his slow markets. Like I said, slow markets. This combine, which is the coach's combine, I can't pass, right? This is purely for educational purposes only. I keep repeating this, just like a whiteboard, right? A teacher would do a math problem on the whiteboard, so traders could ask questions. We could review it together. You want to review the statistics? Look at this. The very first trade in this slow markets, it was one trade. It was a banger. I drew it up on the whiteboard last night. We did a buy limit or sell limit order. I talked it out. We let it play. We let it run overnight. And that trade lasted 603 minutes. 603 minutes. And it was a short. One trade. 603 minute. It was a pretty dang good trade, if you ask me. This is one where I definitely wish I took it in my live account. But yeah, it's overnight combine, which is the coach's combine. I can't pass, right? This is purely for educational purposes only. I keep repeating this, just like a whiteboard, right? A teacher would do a math problem on the whiteboard, so traders could ask questions. We could review it together. You want to review the statistics? Look at this. The very first trade in this slow markets, it was one trade. It was a banger. I drew it up on the whiteboard last night. We did a buy limit or sell limit order. I talked it out. We let it play. We let it run overnight. And that trade lasted 603 minutes. 603 minutes. And it was a short. One trade. 603 minutes. It was a pretty dang good trade, if you ask me. This is one where I definitely wish I took it in my live account. But yeah, it's overnight price action paid again. Let's actually review it now as we watch this Nikkei sell off this Nikkei selling off. Let's zoom in and we can just watch it here and appreciate it together. Let's take a look at that target first. Let's take a look at that first target, looking at this 37,200, these lower 200s. Let me zoom in on that 1 minute chart, and you can see I have the DOM up, watching it in the DOM as well. And yeah, so far so good. Let's see if we could get that momentum. See if we could get that momentum the Nikkei can definitely find on the when it starts to sell off. And let's look. There's 50 contracts. Look at that. That's pretty big. That's pretty big for this market. 50 contracts sitting at 36,800. Let's take a look at the 5 minute chart and see where we are at that 56,800. Why would it be down there? It's quite a way. It's way down there. 56,800 even. So it has some room to go for whoever wants to buy down there. That's quite a ways. And just watch it. We'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, I don't mind having that $500 worth of risk to see if we could break down to these 37,200s and even catch maybe just a runner. We're going to see. Look at this market push. See the bid and ask? Bid and ask is even below the last field price. We have the ask at the low of day. Let's see. Shall we watch it together? Horrible call, right, Hoop? Horrible call. We do that risk disclosure. There it is in the YouTube chat. Risk disclosure. One more time for those in the back. Risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. This is for educational purposes only, not a signals class. It's not wise if you have a process of following traders on YouTube or fading traders on YouTube. It turns out that you need to learn to think for yourself. That is the lesson that comes more frequently than traders typically wish would happen, right? So watching this, it's continuing to sell off. Like I said, these lower 200s would be the first target. We're already almost there. We are almost there. Look at this market push lower. I'm watching it. The bid's still continuing to be at the low of day. 37,240 now. 240. Where did the fader go? Catch you outside? Half the time, I don't think they fade. I think they just come to talk a little bit of crap and then leave. I don't think they're really doing it. Because if they did, they don't have a process. It's the trolls, the internet trolls. That bid is still staying at low of days. Looking at this market selling off. Let's see if we can get 210. 210, and I'll be happy. J-Money trades. Yeah, I know. I know you just do it to just BS. I know who's real and who's actually just coming in to be a jerk. Yeah, I want to see these 210s, maybe 200 even. If we get there, I might just see money, take money. See money, take money. Why not? Why not? Trade number 2 for the slow market statistics. Leave a runner going on for a big order. If this was more than one contract, yes, I would love to leave a runner on. This is one contract, so you just have to be all the way in and all the way out. You don't have that luxury of leaving a runner when you only have one contract on, right? After this trade, we'll go review last night's slow markets trade. So let's let this trade play out, and then we can review last night's slow markets trade play out, or go review that one. Micro Nikkei would be solid. Oh, I agree with that. When do you lock out? Like, do you have a dollar amount or just a fill? So in my personal live account here at TopStep, or personal live account. So in my live account at TopStep, not that I trade. So my live account here at TopStep, I lock myself out around $5,000. I don't want to lose more than $5,000 a day in my live account. Like I said, last year I made $500,000. I've taken big payouts, and $5,000 for me, that's enough. Now I trade my live account here at TopStep more aggressively than I would my personal account, and that's what I think. For me, in my own personal way that I trade, that's what I use a prop firm for. I could trade aggressive. I could use leverage. Take advantage of the live account here at TopStep. So $5,000 for me for a day is enough. Look at this market. It's going down. I sold the low, and if the market keeps selling off, then the low is lower, right? we're gonna take 205. Let's take 205. Let's take 205. We'll get that. Actually, you know what? I like 210 even. I said 210. I see a little bit of support there at 210. Let's see if we can get that. And, not bad for 30 minutes worth of trading, right? 30 minutes, $500, and it filled. So there we go. One and done. Have that. How about that for the trade to start off the slow markets? Now, moving on. Next, let's talk about the trade from last night. Let's talk about the trade from last night on the NASDAQ. This slow markets, if you tuned in from last night, watch the replay. It was a good one. What were we looking at? What was we looking at? What was that trade exactly? It was set up on the hourly chart here in the NASDAQ. Last night, the NASDAQ was, where were we at? We were, I don't know, we were somewhere after we gapped down, right? We gapped down. We were trying to fill it. The trade setup was a sell limit around 128. So the sell limit was micros. We sold 2 micros around 128. The stop loss was around, 228? Something right there. Correct me. I don't know. The stop loss was somewhere up there. The take profit was a gap fill. The take profit was a gap fill. So it was a little bit better than a 1-to-1 on 2 micros. It was risking about $400 or $500 to make $600. And sure enough, overnight, the market went up. It filled the sell limit order. And while we were sleeping, the market was doing its thing, and it was still active during fast markets. You tune into fast markets, that trade was still active while I was live during fast markets. And I made the decision to move the stop loss to the overnight session highs and let that trade play out. The trade played out. We went down. We hit that take profit. And as you guys can see, let's pull up the charts and data, and we could show the execution. We could show those executions. Where are they at? Where is the charts and data, confirmations, whatever? We want to show everything. Maybe it didn't play because it was on micros. That's why. It was on micros. I'm on MNQs. Let's look at the micros again. So there it is. Look at that. If you want to call that a slow markets trade, what a beautiful thing that is, right? Filled 128 overnight while we were sleeping, and take profit down here at 173. What a beautiful thing. And let's take a look at the 5-minute. What did it look like at a 5-minute? Because it basically happened while we were sleeping. So there's the trigger, 128, and there's the finish at 173 at that gap fill. So there's that slow markets trade. 2 micros, right? Had a decent stop loss, a 1-to-1 risk reward. We take a look at those statistics, and let's take a look at that trade again. $618. We was risking what, $400 or $500, and it was just one and done. It got filled. This is my time, I believe, so it got filled at 10:33 p.m. Central, and we closed it out at basically 6 minutes after the market opened, 8:36 a.m. Central Standard Time, 6:21, and that was all she wrote. I mean, we take a look at that time, and like I said, that was how many hours? How many hours is that? That's from 10 hours. 10 hours, that's a 10-hour trade in 2 micros, and just letting the market play out. One could even argue, let the trend be your friend right after that major sell-off. One trade done. Tonight, we had that one Nikkei trade. You guys seen it live in front of everybody. We go back to the Nikkei. What's the Nikkei doing? Is it just selling off now? Oh, we're just tanking. Man, market is continuing. That's why sometimes, if only you had a runner, right? If only you had a runner. Look at this market. That's a 1-second chart. It's going to go to a 1-minute chart. Yeah, that was it. That was a beautiful trade. Every single trade, you're not going to catch the exact bottom. You're not going to catch the exact top. You're not going to catch the exact bottom. Every single trade, you could look back and say you could have had more. You could have had a better entry. You could have had a better exit. You need to be happy with just taking a piece of the trend. Just take a piece. You just want the middle. You don't want to expect catching the bottom and the exact tops. Sometimes as traders, you'll always start thinking, if only I had a runner, if I would have held all the way down there, just be happy with what you get as long as you have a good risk reward. This risk reward was basically 1-to-1. Obviously, closed it out a little bit early. Was talking about letting a runner run, but can't argue with that. Gold, everyone talking gold, blowing through all-time highs. There goes gold. There's Zoro in the chat. Not me. You nail it every time. Does Naz have pending orders? No, everything's closed. Gold hitting all-time highs. Do you sell it? I don't want to sell all-time highs in gold. Seems like I've been talking about that all year in gold. Sarcasm? Oh. It's more than enough to be able to get the meat like that. Get the meat. We have the meat. Getting a piece of the trend is such a good way of thinking of it. Wow. Or that quote. The quote from, I'm horrible with names, but the quote is, it's less than what you want, but more than what you need. Right? $400. $470. That's less than what I want, but more than what you need on a daily basis. Dakota, when gold is at all-time highs, what do you think the market movers are thinking? The market movers, they're just thinking, where do we buy it? We buy the dip. Just buy the dip. Just be happy with what you get. Tell kids that all the time in grade school. It's what is it? It's you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Be happy with what you get. It's like, I don't know. There's the grade school sayings. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Basically a free trade at this point. Oh man, I'm not seeing anything else. Everybody, that was basically it. That sums up everything. That so much was packed into those first 30 minutes. You got a little bit of everything. We did a whole market review. We reviewed NASDAQ, crude oil, Nikkei, gold. I threw a trade on there in the Nikkei. Worked out really well. Beautiful setup. I reviewed last night slow markets. Gold hit all-time highs during class. We talked a little crap on the haters. What else? I think we covered everything in 30 minutes that I usually cover in an hour and a half. We just call it good. What else? What else is there?
I'm going long here.
Let's talk dinner now. No, that's actually what's on my mind. Dinner's always on my mind at this time. It's that time of night. Oh yeah, now we need Jesse to show up. Where's Jesse? It's not a full complete slow markets without a Jesse. Let's look at feeder count. You know what we can look at?
Order filled.
Let's look at copper. What's copper doing?
Order filled.
Ooh. Copper's a short. Is copper going to break down? Is copper going to sell out? Sell off? Let's jump into a, you know what? I'm going to just do this. This is not good enough for a slow markets trade. This is me just practicing copper. Let's throw in some copper over here. And why does this have an unrealized P&L? Oh, I was teaching my VIP. I was throwing my VIP class. Yeah, my VIP. I was doing some demonstrations in my VIP. So let me get out of that. Any of my demonstrations I like to do in a practice, any experiments, anything I am testing out is in a practice account, which everybody else should. I'm thinking copper could just continue down. Let's do it. Let's sell the low in copper. So one contract is $12.50 a tick. Let's do it because we can learn together, right? How about silver SI? Live cattle's a beast. Live cattle is a beast, pun intended. Now, doesn't trade overnight. What's the symbol for live cattle hoop? I know you have 16 charts open. 16 charts open. We're watching this copper. It's dinner time. Are you Turkish? No, I'm not Turkish. Prop firms have destroyed most traders' mental game, but they got good experience being in the market at low cost, which is good. Oh, man. I have so many opinions, Richard. I know you do as well. When do you sell a low and when do you not? Depends. LE. LE is the symbol. Let's take a look at this. LE for live cattle is going up. Oh, that's the... You want to talk about an ugly order book. That, my friend, is an ugly order book. Is it trading right now or no? No, it's not. It's closed. Okay. It's closed. It looks like it's going to break out, right? Like from a pure technical standpoint, that is a rally, a pullback, and do we get continuation in this live cattle? Can we get up to? Oh, I've never traded live cattle, but technicals are technicals, right? Let's jump back to this copper trade. Ooh. That looks, copper's just insane. Copper's been insane volatile right now over the past little bit. We're just insane. X marks the spot, dead below the waist order book. LE. Would be great to have time zone indicator for TopStep. Ooh, put that in the suggestions. I'm curious. I'm sorry. I'm curious on the Nikkei. What's going on with the Nikkei just selling off still? Tell you what, when the Nikkei sells off and gets in a direction, it goes. It does. Quite the move. Going back to copper, we are catching a bit. I'm going to close it out. I'm just curious. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Jumping around here, seeing if any of these markets are moving, any setups. Not really much going on. I'm on the 1 minute. Let's go back to my normal time frame, 5 minutes.
756.
And wow, dump. What cash market is cooking a fundamental trade right now mode. Dump. What's cash? Shout out any symbols you want me to look at. Okay, let's get to some more of these questions. Did you get to ask David Green about how he got rid of large orders? Oh shoot, I forgot. 6. But Peter Tuchman, remind me tomorrow, everybody, please. Peter Tuchman, the man on Wall Street, Einstein of Wall Street, legit, obviously. TopStep is legit. It's not just a pop-up prop shop scamming traders, any of that. Like TopStep is legit. That's why I'm here. Peter Tuchman, he's still on the New York Stock Exchange floor. He's still a trader on the floor. Comes on TopSteps Mondays and Fridays, right after fast markets. Remind me, I got to get Andre to ask him, how would you fill a large order, like 1, 2, 3,000 contracts? If a client called you right now and said, fill 3,000 contracts, how would you fill them? I am just so curious on that. And now I'm sure he's going to say something. Well, is it a market order? Is it good? Like, fill or kill? I'm sure it depends, right? Just like anything, it depends. But I'm just curious. Like, hey, do you use an algorithm? Do you fill it manually? Do you? I don't know. I'm just really curious on that. Yeah, Tuchman is a legend of legends. That's why.
1,000.
There's no comparison to what TopStep is doing here. He'll fill it over the day. Well, I don't know. Maybe what would Peter Tuchman do if he gets a market order? He says, hey, give me 3,000 contracts at market. Does he just go in and just click a button and say buy market and push the market up? Does he use a VWAP? I don't know. I remember him saying something. I don't know when or where or how long it was, but he was like, yeah, I go throw some in the algorithm or in the computer or something, then it'll fill some manual. I don't know. It probably does a mix. Yeah, nobody else has what TopStep does. There's a lot of prop firms and pop-up shops and these TV shows, right, that are popping up out of everywhere trying to do good. Now, some's not too bad, but you don't get a Peter Tuchman, a David Green, live traders, right? Where's the live traders at? Please, Dakota, may you please go to gold. Switch to a 30-minute line chart. Is that the hidden high on gold? The hidden high on gold. Go to the gold. We'll go to, it's continuing to make all-time highs. We'll go to the 30-minute. What is a hidden high? What is a hidden high? I'm not sure what you mean by that. TopStep team is second to none. Yep. Triple M, can we get Peter Tuchman to do a trading during MOC one day? I don't think so. I think that's very, very low probability to get Peter Tuchman during MOC because remember, he's a live trader. My understanding Switch to a live chart. Oh, a line chart. Okay. So my understanding that Peter Tuchman, he's on the New York Stock Exchange. He's on the floor and he trades the MOC. So trying to find when he like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get him live. And probably a lot of what he does is you don't want to tell the public, right? With him and his clients and who knows what else. Switch to a line chart. Let's see if I can do this. Do candles. We'll do line. I don't know what you're referring to. Is that a hidden high? I mean, we're making all-time highs as we speak. You know, 109.1 is the all-time high. All-time high, 109.1. We have a high back here. I'm just so used to candles. What is MOC? Market on close. It happens the last 10 minutes of the New York session. It's just market on close, market orders on close, market on close. That's where the orders come through the last 10 minutes of the New York session. Yay, world record. We're making world records here in the New York stock. Oh, you see on micro gold, 3028. Micro might be a little bit different than the minis. I got 220 tick trade on gold last night. Great work. How do you take profit on your last runner? Raising stop loss or setting limit at your next price? Both can be valid. I prefer trailing it with a stop loss. Let's go back to this Nikkei. Yeah, Nikkei's bouncing a little bit. Nothing else moving on to these markets. Not much going on in the rest of these markets. NASDAQ. Oh, NASDAQ finding buyers. We're still basically where we... nothing. Just unchanged, right? Unchanged here in the NASDAQ. What did you start trading when you first began? I know a lot of people started Forex, then moved to futures. Boogie Boo 2. The Boogie Boo 2. What did I start trading when I started? Not much is going on. I don't mind continue answering questions. I started in penny stocks. I was 14, 15 when I got signed on to my parent account. And any money I got, I put into penny stocks. Obviously, at that age, you're not going to have money to buy anything else than penny stocks. And then I moved on to options. I started trading options. And then from options, I dabbled in Forex. And then from Forex, I moved to futures. Over the counter, pink sheets. All the pink sheets, right? Dakota, instead of trading practice account, why don't you trade combine if you don't want to lose? Well, practice account is for what? Practicing, CC. If I want to demonstrate something, I could buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell. I don't really care what happens, right? Because I'm demonstrating. A teacher uses a whiteboard, right? You don't tell a teacher to use a permanent marker on a whiteboard. That's silly. I have a live account. There's zero benefit for me starting a combine and trading a combine because if I pass a combine, I'm not going to do anything with it because I have my live account. I have this slow markets combine, which is just like this practice account because this is a coach's combine. I'm using this account purely for slow markets. So that way, if there's an actual setup for slow markets, I'm going to place the trade. We're going to watch it in slow markets, whether it's an overnight trade or if it's a scalp, just like you've seen here. And then we could review statistics. And I want to show traders that you don't need to jump in 15 contracts. You don't need to jump in 10 contracts. It's slow and steady. 1, 2, 3 trades a day. And maybe not even there might not even be a trade most of the days. And we could review these statistics. Maybe I blow this account over a month. Maybe I pass this account. But the idea is for education, like the fact that you can trade these markets at this time and take advantage of overnight volatility and overnight price movements. The $618 happened while I was not even looking at the charts because it was an overnight trade setup. We got triggered last night and that's the beautiful thing, right? That's what we want to be able to demonstrate. That's what I want to be able to demonstrate is that we have traders all over the world, right? Traders internationally. You might not be able to trade during the New York session. There's other styles of trading other than just scalping the New York session, other than this. And there's a reason why there's a practice account. Practice account is practice, right? You see professional athletes practicing. Tiger Woods, how much time has he spent on the driving range? Tiger Woods just doesn't hit golf balls in the middle of a tournament. Michael Jordan, everyone's talking about the Michael Jordan debate. How many free throws has he shot in a practice compared to on the court? You don't just get better in the middle of a game. Literally closed your eyes and sold last night. I take my trades during the day, but practice at night. I want to do trades like that, even though I love the New York session. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of both. And I've had traders who say, New York session, I trade it, I suck at it, I'm struggling with it, I tried slow markets, and I'm better at slow markets. And then vice versa. I have traders that say, I've been trying slow markets, but I just can't find success and consistency in slow markets or overnight trading. I'm better at the New York session during the volatile, faster markets. And that's good. That's what these markets are there for. You find what you're comfortable trading. You find where you get that consistency and then try and stick to it. Like you don't have to trade 23 hours and every single time these markets are open. That's why there's many different coaches.
Let me analyze this. Actually, let me cut this baby out.